How to manage your Pokemon investments like the 1%. I saw a quote, and I've used this quote in a video before, but I remember who it's from now. It was US-based, CNBC. They quoted that, it was about a year ago, that 60% of all Americans, if they would be going into debt if they had an emergency bill come up that was roughly $1,000. So what that suggests is basically 60% of Americans have less than $1,000 in their bank account. Whew, that is not great. What does that have to do with Pokemon investing? What I'm getting at is that some people would, or don't be confused that some people don't take that same mindset into Pokemon investing. Now, before we get into this whole topic, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone that's subscribed. We've just ticked over, I think, 8,000 subscribers. So next stop, I guess, is 9,000, and then, of course, the big 5 figures, which is 10,000, and then hopefully onwards and upwards from there. So thanks everyone that subscribed. Not going anywhere. The Pokemon investing content is still coming, so please do yourself a favor, subscribe. I love chatting to everyone down in the comments, so thank you for that, and let's keep going. So, on to the topic. Don't be, I suppose, confused or surprised if people take that mindset into Pokemon investing. And I used this again a couple of videos ago, and people probably remember it, especially if they're on the Pokemon investing Reddit forum. And poor guy, I hope everything's okay. I feel a bit sorry for you, Ben. You're super young, and it's, take it as a learning curve, but invested a heap of money, well, not a heap of money, maybe, $2,000 or $3,000 into sealed Pokemon, and then didn't have the money to care for his dog when his dog got sick and needed to, or was asking the question, how do I best go about selling my Pokemon card collection, sealed that is, to fund the dog's operation? Now, I've come up with, I guess, and hence the title of this video, how to manage your Pokemon investments like the 1%. I've come up with 4 little, I suppose, helpful, they're not even tips. They're probably like, these are things you should be doing if you want to be managing your Pokemon investments to the top echelon. Look, to be honest, if you're watching this video, you're probably already in the top 5 or 10%, because the people that don't watch these sort of videos or don't do the research aren't the people that want to improve, aren't the people that want to make their collection better or their investments better, or even just make it a more enjoyable experience by investing in the right things. They're the ones that are probably battling with it all, and that that 60% that going to debt for over $1,000. So first tip, and this is an easy one. This is something you should be doing if you want to be managing your Pokemon investment portfolio at the top percent, is don't waste money on unnecessary items or unnecessary spending. Just don't do it. And I just want to bring up 2 really quick examples, and I feel bad for them, but you can still find these products online, on stores. So the first one being Urshifu V-Box. Don't wait, just because it's there, what I'm getting at is just because it's there, don't waste money on it. That is what I'm sorry if you've done this, we've all made those mistakes, but the bottom probably 80 or 90% of investors will be doing. They'll be wasting money. They'll go, oh, sweet, product on the shelf, let's buy it up. Let's buy 10 Urshifu V-Boxes. Well, no, don't do it. If you're doing those sort of things, you're not going to be managing your investment at the top level. Reason being, A, it's not a great set. B, it's not a well-known Pokemon. C, the promos inside it aren't great. And even if you do get it cheap, it's discounted and cheap and sitting on shelves 3 years later for a reason, because it's not a sought-after product. And if it's not a sought-after product, it's going to be damn hard to sell in the future. Another one, these Inteleon boxes, and just don't buy theme decks these days. Unless you're buying vintage theme decks, of course, with base set holos inside them or neo holos, great, go for it, go for your life. Those things will continually, hopefully, or should, tick over in value a little bit. But buying modern theme decks, I just wanted to give 2 examples to knuckle home the point. Don't waste money. Don't have unnecessary spending. Those sort of behaviors or habits are not going to put you in the top percent. And to be quite honest, most people watching this probably don't do that. You guys are probably the ones, you're doing the research, you're getting around YouTube, you're trying to better your investment habits to have a better 2024. Second, And again, I don't want to use the word advice, but these are things you should be doing if you're managing your portfolio at the top percent. So second one is just buy at the dip and pick up deals. Now, to go back to the first point, even if you find a product like an Urshifu V-Box at a super duper price, super good deal, doesn't mean you should pick it up. So it coincides a bit with each other. Like if you're buying at the dip and getting deals, still make sure it's the right product. So I just want to use a couple of examples here, right? So I'd probably rank this so far as the second best Scarlet and Violet set. I think 151 English, that is, takes the cake. And then the second best English Scarlet and Violet set definitely has to be Paldea Evolved in my eyes. There's heaps of depth to the hits. It's probably missing that real big top tier chase card, like, you know, your Charizard Alt Art or your Giratina Alt Art or your Umbreon VMAX from Evolving Skies, but it's still got a heap of depth. And the Iono is a nice card. The Magikarp is a beautiful card. But, you know, booster box at the moment, see what I mean? Look at the graph here. Like, if you can buy at the dip, unless this gets another massive wave of printing, you shouldn't think it will get any lower. In fact, it's actually upticked a tiny bit from where it was sitting a month or two ago. So if you've bought this at the dip, particularly if you've picked up maybe a Black Friday deal or a TikTok deal, if you're in the US, or there's some sort of Chrissy or Boxing Day sale deal on, like, get it at the dip. It's a solid pickup. I just wanted to show you two of the cards. The Iono first. Same thing. It seems to have hit the bottom of its run, and it's, again, slightly upticking back up in price. So if you've bought this at the dip, rather than buying it straight at launch. And the third one I wanted to show, third example here, another single from Paldea Evolved, is that beautiful Magikarp card. Same thing. It's actually had a funny trajectory, the Magikarp. Like, yeah, it was at a high, then it dipped, but then ever since then it's been creeping back up. I think the market seemed to undervalue this card a little bit. Like, yeah, it's not a top tier Pokemon. Maybe if it was a Gyarados, for argument's sake, it would be worth more. I shouldn't say it's just a Magikarp, but it sort of is. It's no Giratina or Charizard or Umbreon or Dragonite or Gyarados. It's evolution. So, but you get the point. If you should, like, the aim is to, if you're buying at the dip and getting things as cheap as they're ever going to be, like, you are pushing your way towards that top percent of managing your Pokemon investment or collection portfolio. Third thing is you really need to establish a selling platform, because you know what? The only way you're going to make money off your Pokemon investments is selling them for more than what you bought them for. It doesn't pay you dividends. Having a Fusion Strike Elite Trainer box or 40 of them sitting in your cupboard is not going to pay you any dividends. You're not going to get $20 a month rolling through or $100 a month rolling through, like if you had shares, or you're not going to get money like you had if you had tenants sitting inside a rental property that you got. The only way you're going to make money off it, unless you branch out into a YouTube channel, although you're making money off your time, not off the product, but literally the only way is you buy it at $50 for argument's sake, and some stage in the future you sell your box at $150. So to make that transaction happen, you need to sell it. And when you sell it, you're going to need to be reputable, so to speak, to get the best out of your investment. So I haven't sold a heap on eBay lately, but I used to sell lots, a fair bit. So here's my YouTube. I don't have anything for sale at the moment. Life is busy. Work is absolutely flat out. The YouTube channel is, of course, taking up a little bit of spare time, and then we all have other commitments in the background. I don't have time for a full-time, 50-hour-a-week job. A bit of YouTube on the side, plus managing a eBay store at the moment by selling, cards and singles and other products. But I still like to tick it along from time to time by putting products up there to sell. If you can work your way up to something like 100% positive feedback, both as a buyer and a seller, to show that you are a reputable source, when it comes time to sell your products, you can really capitalize that and make the best money out of it. Otherwise, where else are you going to do it? Okay, yeah, there's platforms like, Facebook, and there's local sales, and there's, in Australia we have places like Gumtree, but I don't know, I just feel like the more reputable it is, like look at PWCC auctions. That is a reputable auction house, and when people sell something on there, people trust in the process. They know for the most part, nothing's been tampered with. It's going to come to them in safe, good condition, tracked. done, they can have it as part of their collection, they're safe with it. And that's what happens when you build up a reputable selling platform. So if you plan on, what I'm getting at is if you plan on holding for say 5 years, start selling things now. So when 5 years comes around and you want to sell your collection because you think that's the timing around your investment maturity, then you've got something set up, ready to go. Make sense? Hopefully. Fourth one, and this is the hardest one to achieve, but it's probably one of the most important, is buying the correct set and buying the correct product. And it's so hard to time and it's so hard to know, but that's where the top 1% sort of sit. And you could argue sometimes it's luck. You could argue sometimes quite strongly that it's just great knowledge, great research, and such a solid basis around what you're picking up when it comes to investing. And we all know sets in the last 2 or 3 years or 4 years or 5 years that have absolutely popped off. All the old art tag team sets from Sun and Moon, obviously, Unified Minds, your Cosmic Eclipse, your Team Up, your Unbroken Bonds have popped off. Like both the Elite Trainer boxes and the booster boxes have gone absolutely mad. There's been some Sword and Shield sets that have completely popped off. Evolving Skies, of course, is the main one that comes to mind. There's been some Japanese sets, Blue Sky Stream, obviously Eevee Heroes. Pokemon 151 is already starting to make massive moves. So, when it comes to it, all those things together, timing the market, buying at the dip, not wasting your money on unnecessary products, and then establishing a selling platform in the future, but buying the right thing. How good would it have been if all of us bought Evo Skies cases at $600 US? 6 booster boxes, $100 US each. In Australia here, Evo Skies booster boxes were $175 at one stage. And they went to $250 and people were like, nah, not buying it, 2D, it's going to get a reprint, it'll drop back to $175. Then it was $350, then it was $450, and now it's, God knows what now, I don't like to look, but $650, $600 Australian, $700 maybe in some cases for an Evolving Skies booster box. Same with Eevee Heroes. Japanese 151 should, unless it gets some massive out of the blue reprint early next year, should follow the same trend as something like an Eevee Heroes, and just, in 18 months' time, it's currently already the cheapest you can buy is probably $280 Australian. So, right today. So what's it going to be in 18 months' time if it doesn't get reprinted? Because it is one hell of a Pokemon card set. So they're the sort of sets and products you should be looking for to be the top 1%. Hopefully everyone has gained something out of this video. If you're new or you're experienced, keep learning, keep striving, keep collecting, and hopefully it becomes more enjoyable that way. Anyway, I'm Michael, it's PokeOz. Catch everyone next time.